So I've been seeing some videos floating around YouTube centered around unpopular opinions regarding a show or a story, and I thought it'd be fun to hear your guys' unpopular opinions about Tower of God, see if I agree, disagree, and just talk about it, because I thought that'd be fun. I made a post on my community tab on YouTube, and you guys destroyed it, okay? You've been destroying like the like button lately and the subscribe button lately, but there are 368 unpopular opinions on here, which blows my mind. I haven't looked at them yet, but I'm super curious to see what you guys said, so let's do it. Kiko says, I feel like Ghost is a completely irrelevant character. What's his purpose exactly? To show that Heedon for some reason cares about Rachel, or is he simply ensuring that Rachel goes farther up the tower so Balm is pushed to new limits? I just feel like he doesn't add much to the story plot-wise or even entertainment-wise. I could be wrong, though maybe there's something major I'm missing. I agree with this to some extent. I feel like Ghost had so much potential to have story presence throughout Tower of God, but was sort of just present in the background, and I feel like this is something the anime is sort of fixing. They're making Ghost more relevant. However, it is true that Ghost didn't really need to exist. Like, Rachel still could have gone through these tests and gone up the tower. You could argue that because she's weak, Heedon wanted someone strong to protect her, but I agree it's not really the most important thing, and if Ghost didn't exist, it would be just fine. However, I do think it is super cool that they brought him back in the webtoon in the Cage arc. Like, they didn't have to do that. Like, SIU has forgotten about other characters and just completely never shown them again, but he didn't do that with Ghost, and I feel like that deserves some props. Like, maybe he still will play some part in the story. I don't know if he's going to reunite with Rachel or if he's gonna carry out Heedon's bidding. So long story short, I agree with you. Ghost kind of irrelevant, but we'll see what happens in the future. JonTheBush, who is one of my wonderful patrons, thank you John, says here, I'm not sure if this is an unpopular opinion or not, but I think deaths in Tower of God are weightless. Like, they happen and maybe they bother the characters for a chapter or two, but I can't think of any deaths that stick with characters in the long run. Like, I know the characters are surrounded by death, but like, when it's a teammate like Prince, you'd think they'd at least reference it. I completely agree with this. I feel like while the deaths themselves are meaningful to us and they get us in the gut, especially with Team Sweet and Sour, it doesn't really seem like it matters to the rest of the characters. I do think it mattered to Wangnan and Misang because I remember them being depressed for like chapters and chapters. I think Wangnan has like a nightmare where like Arcraptor visits him in his dream. Like, they were definitely affected, but as far as the story goes, or even the other characters go, they haven't really changed anything, and they were sort of just added in as like a really sad thing. You know, SIU was like, okay, it's about time I start killing some characters. I wish it actually mattered, and I wish that the characters who already know about it would be more affected by it. And this brings up a great point, like, does Balm know about Prince and Arcraptor? I don't think he does, otherwise he would want to kill Whitt right now, right? Like, he would not be able to stand him. But it is strange that it happened years ago and he doesn't know about it, and like the characters that do know about it don't really talk about it. I remember Sachi and Boro talking about it one time when they were like, hey, let's not tell Balm. And that's it, like they were never referenced again, and I really wish that these deaths carried weight. I completely agree with you. Negative Mantra says, in my opinion, I think Rak needs a bit more time to shine. All we really know is that he's a hunter who's looking for his strongest opponent. I think he could possibly be one of the most interesting characters for the simple fact that he's so different compared to our other two main characters, Balm and Koon. Also a bit personal, but I want more Yurik. All right, so your last part with Yurik, I don't agree with that. I feel like we've already gotten too much Yurik. Like, SIU throws in Yurik as much as he can, especially like on the hidden floor, and I feel like it's not always necessary, although I love Yurik. Don't hate me on that. However, I do definitely agree on your Rak point. Rak is a main character who sort of evolved into this minor side character as season 3 especially has progressed. He has a lot of potential. Like, he has this Ancient One power, and it's, you know, we're getting more info about it. It's not like they've completely forgotten about it, but it's just sort of happening in the background. And in general, I think these side characters need to get more screen time and need to get more development, which is sad for me to say because Rak shouldn't be a side character. So yes, I agree with that opinion, and I actually don't think it's that unpopular, which is pretty interesting. Red King says, Anak as a character is extremely underutilized. Oh my gosh, thank you so much. I feel like this isn't talked about enough. I'm not sure which of these videos is going up first, but I just filmed a top 5 disappointing Tower of God characters video. I'm not going to spoil where she is in the rankings just in case you haven't seen it, but if it's out, you can watch it here by clicking the card. But in that video, I talk about why Anak deserves so much more. She, again, kind of like Rak, was a main/major character who was sort of left behind, even more so than Rak. She was such an amazing character in Season 1, probably one of my top 3 favorite characters in Season 1, and I know even going into Season 2, she was a lot of people's favorite character. Another fellow Tower of God YouTuber, Haku of the Tubes, has said before that Anak is his favorite character, and I know that he is just one of many who are disappointed that Anak gets 0 screen time nowadays. We'll see what happens. I hope that SIU starts to utilize her more, which I think he will eventually, but even if it's next chapter, it's still been way too long. The Kotak says, I don't really hate Rachel. And I can see that he's already started a debate because there's 5 replies here. This is definitely an unpopular opinion because most people in the Tower of God fandom think that basically to be a member of the Tower of God fandom, you have to hate Rachel. And I agree that you don't have to. Like, I don't hate Rachel either. I mean, she's done things that I really despise, but as a character, I think she's really great. I actually really like her as a character, and I'm excited to see what they do with her in the future when she's brought back. Okay, I don't know how to pronounce your name here, but I'll do my best. Chujitsuna Gloxender, I completely butchered that, says, the next arcs should be more focused on the regulars instead of the rankers. A lot of the characters are missing or don't have the right time to shine. This is what I've been saying this whole time when I mentioned in my reactions that I don't mind Balm getting these power upgrades or these things happening to him and he's sort of getting the focus. Like, I don't mind that, but I don't like it when it's all Balm and none of the side characters. We mentioned Rak, we mentioned Anak, but there's so many people that are regulars that are sort of being left in the dust because Balm is already on like really high ranker level, and the regulars in his group are not even close to being ranker level. And to me, that's a little sad. Like, I sort of want them to progress. Like, I get that Balm is an irregular, but I don't want Balm to be like ready to fight Jihad and Koon is like a B rank regular. I think that'd be really sad. So we'll see. I'm seeing a lot of comments from people saying the same things, regulars being ignored and not enough about Rak, and I agree. I really hope we get more side character stuff. Ivy Averina says, SIU needs more variety in character pose. Many of the skills are basically Shinsu Cannon with fancy name while the character's T-posing. I never really thought about that. I kind of disagree with you. I do see what you're saying, that a lot of the moves are basically like Shinsu explosions and Shinsu beams and cannons, but at the same time, a lot of them are actually pretty unique. Like, Whitt has a lot of very interesting styles with his Shinsu sword attacks. Balm has been starting to branch out a little bit. Sometimes he uses the orb, sometimes he uses like the butterfly technique. Like, there are differences, so I only 50% agree with you, but I see what you're saying. Mini Mustache says, Koon's new powers are trying and failing to make up for his total lack of scheming this season. Whoo boy, you're not really wrong, but at the same time, I don't completely agree with you. I feel like SIU is giving Koon these powers to make him more relevant for a lot of other reasons, but that doesn't mean he isn't scheming. Like, we know that he's recently been scheming with Whitt, with the souls, and he also basically planned the entire thing with the bullet, like teleporting the bullet to take out Dekoko. I mean, that's kind of the extent of his scheming, which is kind of sad. It's kind of like with Rak, like Balm is just becoming so strong that we don't really need Koon to scheme all that much, and I really do hope we get that because that's what made Koon so awesome. Yeah, I'm seeing more people saying Koon is getting boring recently. Oh boy, yeah, I don't disagree. Starmyson127 says, Chang's death was random. To be honest, he got hit out of nowhere and then dies. Didn't he used to be in the top 5 E-class or something? He better still be alive as well as Awa, or I'm calling BS. I'm not worried about Awa. I have faith in SIU that Best Girl is still alive, but when it comes to Chang, I 1000% agree with you. There's some people who are saying maybe he's still alive, like maybe he's hanging in there. I don't have my hopes up, sadly, but if he was alive, I would think that's so great because he was hyped up as this mysterious, powerful character who's hiding his powers throughout the entire show, and then he just kind of gets killed off. That's really sad to me. Kaiser24 says, too much chibi Rak. Rack needs to get big more often each time he fights someone because the reaction is funny. I don't really want him to get big because the reaction is funny, although I agree it is really funny seeing people react to it. I wish he got big more often, I agree with you, because it just fits his character. It makes sense that he stays small a lot of the times because he can just walk around easier and not get in people's way or whatever. But at the same time, Rack is a warrior. You know, he's a warrior with a gigantic spear, and he takes pride in that. And when he was first transformed into Chibi Rack, he hated it, you know? And you can argue that yes, it grew on him and it fits better because he's not big and bulky and getting in the way. But at the same time, like, I wish it was more, like, I wish that every time he fought he was big, instead of every once in a while when he fights he gets big. You know, I don't know, I completely agree with that. S. Serene C says, Season 3 Balm's hairstyle is actually the best one. I beg to differ. I don't think it's bad. Like, I think I like it better than short hair Balm because he looks more mature. I like the viol hair, man. I like the long-haired Balm. I think Balm looked really badass with his long hair. And while I do like Season 3 Balm, there's something about it that certain panels I'm not a fan of. I don't know what it is, but it's not bad. It's not bad. AMG A Mighty Grizzly says, Fandub cast should have been dubcast, fight me. Thank you, that means a lot. Ashley Paul says, okay, but does anyone know what happened to the bet Yuri and Koon had with the 13 months? Wait, they did, didn't they? Wait, hold on a second. Oh, there's a bet that Mashini made with Yuri. I do remember this vaguely. It's been a long time. Wow, that's a good point. I didn't even remember that. Huh, it's just another example of another, like, side plot line that was sort of left behind. Criticism Crow says, I miss Awa. I miss her too. Top TV Games Stuff says the anime is pretty good. 7.5 out of 10 so far. It's kind of sad that that's an unpopular opinion, because I actually think it is an unpopular opinion. The anime is doing a great job, and here's the thing. The anime can't be and shouldn't be a one-to-one adaptation of the original. Like, it's supposed to be this separate thing, and that's why we have the original. Like, the anime isn't supposed to be just a copy of it that's better than the original. So to me, when I see something that's not included, it's sad, and I'm like, oh, I wish they included it. But at the same time, that's why we have the webtoon, you know? So I think they're doing a great job with what they have. It's not perfect, but like, it's really good. Brian Kwong says, Balm isn't that interesting of a character to me. Sure, I want to know his backstory and his future, of course, but he's not on my list of favorite characters. I like characters like Calavan more, even though he's technically the villain. And I'm actually more interested in the history of Jihad and the 10 family leaders. I can say Zahard, I don't know why I said Jihad. And why Zahard turned from an optimistic adventurer to an egotistical lunatic king. I agree that Balm isn't one of my favorite characters, and I can't really blame Balm for that. It's just that SIU made a really good protagonist, but made excellent side characters. And that's why in my favorite, top 10 favorite characters videos, I always talk about the side characters. I think they're really well done. I don't think it's a bad thing that Balm isn't like the best character in Tower of God. Because he really isn't, like, he's a really good character. I think he's a good protagonist. He serves his purpose really well, and I do want to find out his backstory. But just because he's not like a fan favorite, I feel like he can get away with it, if that makes sense. I don't know. I gotta think about that more. And finally, let's end here with Kaz Violante saying, feel like the Hell Train arc pushed the story and progress too far for the rest of the group. Anak, Shibisu Hats, Team Sweet and Sour, etc. I loved the idea of climbing the tower floor by floor, not skipping ahead. Very interesting point. I feel like the Hell Train, it's a little more excusable, because if we climbed floor by floor by floor and spent like an arc on each floor, or even just like a few chapters, I think it would take a while. And I see why SIU did what he did. So I feel like the Hell Train, it's okay, especially since there's like multiple stops and like things that happen along the way and along the ride. However, I feel like it's a little worse with like the Season 3 skip, because Season 3 didn't actually really show the progress. I don't know, I feel like that is not as good as what the Hell Train did. The Hell Train, it's okay, and Season 3 skip, it's okay. But at the same time, if like the nest ends and then we get another like 20 floor time skip, yeah, that would be bad. So those are some unpopular Tower of God opinions. I actually found myself agreeing with more of them than I thought. Not all of them, but a lot of great points were made. Did you guys agree with them or disagree, or did you have some unpopular opinions of your own? Let me know in the comments down below. I'm sure I'm gonna do one of these again sometime. If you like talking about Tower of God, we actually have a Discord server with over 600 members, which is absolutely insane. So if you want to join our Discord and join the discussion, link is in the description down below. And with that, I will see you guys in the next Tower of God video.